It looks like there's 7 people viewing right now, so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll stick with the agenda starting at 11:15 for this breakout session. My name is Bobby White. I'm the wellness coordinator at Oglala Lakota College. I do provide mental health counseling to staff and students here at OLC. Before we get going too much, please drop into the chat where you're from. So state, tribal, nation, whatever you're comfortable sharing, feel free to share that in the chat for this session. Awesome, thank you. Awesome, thank you. So if you are just now joining, my name is Bobby White. I am the wellness coordinator at Oglala Lakota College. I ask that you please put where you're from in the chat, and then we'll give a little bit of time for that to happen, and then I'll share my screen with you all, and we'll do activity right away. Okay, so this first activity has audio. Thank you all, thank you. This first activity has audio, and to be honest, it starts out quite loud. So just a warning. All right, so just follow along with the YouTube video here.
So sitting comfortably, just taking a big deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. As you breathe in, noticing how the body expands. As you breathe out, just watching the body soften as you gently close the eyes. And rather than the mind leading the breath, allow the breath to lead the mind. Notice the sensation of the breath. Notice it where you feel it in the body. If you need to, you can just gently place your hand on the stomach. And just following that rising and falling sensation. Nothing else to do. Allowing thoughts to come and go. And when you're ready, just gently opening the eyes again.
All right. So thank you for participating in that short meditation. Now we'll jump into my slides here. Like I said, my name is Bobby White. I am the Okijupi Wakiapi, our wellness coordinator at Oglala Lakota College. Today we will be talking about being a good relative in lines with self-care. So to get us started, feel free to jot your answers down on a paper if you have a paper and pen next to you, or make a mental note in your mind of a list of what characteristics come to mind when you think of a good relative. So what characters might you think of when you think of a good relative? If you think of, you know, a unchi grandma or a auntie, a uncle, a brother, sister, you know, a real good positive relative, a good friend, you know, what characteristics come to mind? For me, most often compassion, positiveness, loving, like loving, endearing words, you know, like somebody saying, my girl, how are you today? Or my boy, how are you? You know, things like that, and just talking in a very compassionate way. And then, how can I be a good relative to myself? So feel free, again, to write this down. How can I be a good relative to myself? So when we take those characteristics of compassion and loving and kind words, how can we apply that to ourselves? How can I take the compassion of somebody saying my girl to me, and how can I apply that to myself to make myself feel loved by hearing those words if somebody were to say that to me from a good relative of mine? So write down what you currently do, what you thought about doing, you know, and how can you be a good relative to yourself? Okay, so when we think of self-care and being a good relative to ourselves, it is taking care of ourselves. How can we best take care of ourselves? So here are 4 different topic areas of self-care. So you have physical self-care, emotional self-care, social self-care, spiritual self-care. You also can add in a 5th one of an intellectual self-care. You know, so these key areas of wellness, types of self-care, have different activities that fall underneath each area. So for physical self-care, you know, taking care of our bodies, making sure we're getting rest, sleeping well, drinking enough water, eating well, going to the doctor if we need to, you know, those types of physical ways to take care of our bodies, movement, exercise, emotional self-care. So emotional self-care activities that would fall under there would be like journaling, talking to a supportive person, friend, trusted friend, relative. Meditation can fall under emotional self-care. Prayer can fall under emotional self-care, but also spiritual self-care. You know, so some of these definitely overlap. You know, taking care of our emotional self can also could look like exercising daily. You know, I know I need to exercise for my emotional wellness, or I know I need to get a good night's sleep for my emotional wellness. You know, different things like that. Social self-care, we are social beings, we are social creatures. We do like being around others that we enjoy. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different level of social batteries. But we do like to be around people. We do not like to be lonely. So yeah, making sure you're tending to your social self-care needs, meeting up with friends at what the best level is for you. And that is one thing I haven't said yet, is that all of this is different. This self-care takes time, self-care takes practice. Everybody is unique, and a different combination of self-care activities works best for that individual. What works for me might not work for the next person, or vice versa. So when we think in terms of self-care, so some of this stuff is definitely going to overlap because it is that important. However, it plays into all areas of our life. So like I mentioned, so these are some daily habits of self-care. Sleeping 7 to 9 hours. So the picture is hard to read, but the first box here, the dark blue one, is a Sleep Foundation study for recommended amounts of sleep for different age ranges. So typically those first 3 age ranges from 18 to 25, 25 to, I think it's like 40 or so, and then the older adult range is at the top. But typically you want to be sleeping, all of those top 3 adult categories fall into sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. So ways to promote healthy sleep habits: sleeping in a dark, cool room, good sleep hygiene. So, if you're a type of person who likes to shower before bed, if you're not, like at least washing your face and, getting changed into comfortable sleeping clothes. Those definitely help promote sleep. Also, the phone devices or laptop devices, TVs, turning off that blue light 2 hours before bedtime is recommended. If you can't do 2 hours previously to falling asleep, definitely do at least 30 minutes, no phone, no laptop, no TV. And because that blue light keeps you awake, that blue light tells your eye and your brain that it's still daytime out, you still need to be awake. Drinking 64 ounces of water a day. So this picture here says 48 to 60 ounces. It's a general amount. However, individuals with different health related reasons would take in less or more depending on what diagnoses they have. But overall, I have a Fitbit. Fitbit, the app recommends 64 ounces. That is my personal goal, is to get 64 ounces of water a day. I've had people ask, what does that look like? So this water bottle here that I have, it's pretty big compared to my face, my head. This holds 40 ounces of water. So I do my best to drink 40 ounces while I'm here in my office. And then I would have like 24 ounces left after I drink that 40 ounce. So like whenever I go home for the evening, then 24 ounces is what I would need to hit my daily goal for the rest of the day. And then just positive self-talk, like we talked about, that good relative, what they say. So these are positive affirmations written in Lakota and in English. And then the picture also depicts the same positive affirmations. Wamashake, I am powerful. Maksape, I am smart. Iota Michila, I love myself. Washtekta Ichala Ibluchaye, I think in a positive way. And Blihemiche, I gather my strength. So these are good ways, good positive affirmations to say to yourself on a daily basis. When maybe you're having a tough day, something happened that disrupted your day, and you want to make sure you're moving forward in a positive way. Or maybe you want to start off your day with these positive affirmations, looking at yourself in the mirror as you're getting ready for the day. When you use the bathroom, checking in, looking at yourself, saying a few of these. It does create a overall mind shift, to focusing on the positive versus, our self. We're the most critical person of ourselves, so we definitely could say, why'd you do that? Why'd you say that? You're making yourself look dumb, or that was stupid. Why'd you do that? Changing that dialogue to be like, you know what? I am smart. I make mistakes, and that's okay. And, just talking to yourself in a more loving, positive way. Some other forms of self-care, would be journaling, yoga, beading, being creative. So drawing, painting, those types of things. Music is definitely a good, positive self-care tool. Music plays a huge part in many cultures. With many people, it holds value and meaning, and music can definitely be a form of self-care. Coloring, eating, sleeping, gardening, all of those areas. Okay, so now I know we did a short meditation to start. We will now do another short meditation. And this one is a little bit longer. However, it is still, I'm a very visual, tactile person. I like to write things down. I like to see things. So that is my goal, to show and share with you all our different options. Like I said, everybody is unique. Everybody is different. Everybody likes and enjoys different things. But with self-care, it does take time to hone in on what works best for you and what you like. So we will again engage with this short meditation video and just follow along with it.
Hi, this is Dora. Today, we'll be trying a grounding technique to help settle your mind and body and rediscover a sense of balance whenever you need it most. No matter what's going on around you, whether you're experiencing feelings of anxiety or racing thoughts, you can always take comfort with this visualization intended to help you feel more grounded and balanced in this moment. Start by placing your feet on the floor or sitting in a comfortable position. Take a cleansing breath in and out. Closing your eyes and feeling the weight of gravity, feeling the earth supporting you. Now, visualizing a strong, sturdy tree planted firmly into the ground, its roots anchoring deep down into the earth and its elements, leaves drifting away in the breeze. And just like those leaves, thoughts will always come and go. Feelings will always come and go. But from this anchored point of view, we can take a step back from those thoughts and see them from what they are, rather than what we expect them to be. By acknowledging them and letting them go, we're able to create a deeper connection with the mind while staying firmly rooted in the present moment and embracing all the different aspects of our lives. You can always come back to this whenever you need to reconnect to a sense of groundedness or reconnect with your environment and surroundings. Thank you for watching. Have a healthy, happy day.
All right. So again, that was another form of meditation. I enjoy those. They're from Headspace mini meditations. They're on YouTube. They have their own YouTube channel. But they do serve a great purpose of allowing us to utilize them to come back to the present moment, or just to breathe like we did on the first one. And then you can like rewatch it over and over. If you're in a moment of anxiousness or stress, you're able to continue to watch that until you feel more yourself, and get back to a more comfortable level of functioning. The first video definitely spoke on breathing, and when we are stressed, we do forget to breathe properly. So proper breathing technique is breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for a few seconds, and then exhaling through your mouth. Pierced lips, so like you're blowing slowly and softly, and long exhale out for like 6 seconds. So breathing that way is very healthy. It also calms your nervous system. So if you're anxious or stressed, that is a good way to bring that down to a more manageable level. All right. We will go back to the presentation. Okay, so again, these activities do overlap. So ways to reduce stress, accepting your needs. So if that looks like, wait, I didn't eat breakfast this morning, maybe I should eat something, or I didn't have a lot of water yet, I'll take a break and I'll drink some water, or making sure you got your daily hours of sleep in, managing your time. So that's a true way to reduce stress, especially stress related to schoolwork, or job related work activities, managing your time. So knowing, and it's called a time study, but it's where you write down everything you do in a day, and for every single hour, every single minute, what does your day look like? So what time do you wake up? What time do you shower? What time do you make breakfast? What time do you drop kids off at school? Or what time do you do your morning workout? Or, whatever your daily schedule looks like, what time do you do all of those things? And then going in and organizing it where you're doing what you want to be doing, what you need to be doing. So if you're in school, and you need to have time to complete homework, but you have other obligations as well, doing a time study will definitely allow you to look at where your time is being spent. So if you're finding yourself spending 20 minutes to 2 hours of your time scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, different things like that, maybe allowing yourself to reward yourself and saying, hey, instead of spending 2 hours on social medias, I will complete X amount of homework documents, and then I will spend and set a timer for 15 minutes of social media, and then I'll be done, and then I will do other things on my list. So managing your time, a time study would help an individual to look at and see where their time is going. Exercising. So exercising releases many endorphins and changes your brain chemically. So if you're stuck at work, if you're stuck on a homework assignment, if you go for like a 15 to 20 minute walk, a brisk walk, where you're able to still talk through that walk, but it is getting your heart pumping and everything going, then coming back and allowing yourself, okay, I feel better. I'm okay. I can do this. My brain has some blood flow to it now. My body's was able to move and not be so restless, things like that definitely help. Setting aside time for yourself. So this one is super important. This one is probably the most important one. If you don't set aside time for yourself to do the things that you like, you love, you enjoy, a lot of the other tasks are going to be a lot harder to accomplish. So when we think in terms of when we ride an airplane and the flight attendant says you need to put your mask on first in the event of the plane going down, you put your mask on first before you assist others. Same way self-care works. Because if we don't put our mask on first, there's a possibility that we can lose oxygen and not be able to assist others, right? So same thing, self-care. If we don't take care of our own self-care needs, we're not going to have anything to help others with. We won't have, sometimes you see the depictions of, if you don't pour into your own cup, how can you pour to others? Same idea, same concept. So making sure you're setting aside time for yourself. Maybe that looks like waking up 15 minutes early so you can sit quietly and have your moment to pray or yoga or journal, whatever works best for you. Maybe it's 20 minutes waking up a little bit earlier so you can have time to exercise, go for a run, a jog. What works into your life? I know some people enjoy bathing, so taking a nice, long, relaxing bath after the day, whatever works for you, whatever recharges your battery, set aside time for yourself to do that. Eating well, this one is a tough one, but eating well when you can will definitely help out a lot, so if you have the opportunity to have more fruits and vegetables, definitely go for that. Getting enough sleep, avoiding alcohol and drugs, and then also talking to somebody. So when we avoid alcohol and drugs, it allows us to be fully present and fully cope with what we have going on in life, because life has its own challenges. When we use alcohol and drugs to cope with those life challenges, in the long run, alcohol and drugs do more damage than facing our emotional, spiritual trauma, coping needs head on. So if you are struggling with that, please reach out to a trusted family, friend, or a professional. Those are definitely ways to get the support that you need. Because I am a mental health counselor, I do want to advocate that counseling is not what it used to be in the days of, some people thought it was like a life sentence. If you sign up with a counselor, you're going to have to see him every day for a week for the rest of your life. It's not like that. Definitely, you are in charge of your own well-being. You are in charge of your life and coping, and you decide what you would like to work on in counseling and how best to make it work for your life. All right. Now here's the big question. What new ways will you try to be a good relative to yourself? So again, feel free to write this down. After the ideas we talked about today, maybe you guys already do some of these things. Maybe this was new information. Maybe it was a reminder. Maybe it's like, hey, well, I never thought of it that way. Let me try it this way. But write down some new ways, or ways that you might have forgot about, but you were reminded about, or just ways to move forward on how you can be a good relative to yourself in the today, specifically this week, this month. What ways will you be a good relative to yourself? I will stop sharing. If you guys feel comfortable sharing what ways you will practice self-care in today, tomorrow, in the week, feel free to put that in the chat. If not, that's okay. As long as you write it down and you know what you're going to do, that's cool with me. At this time, I do ask if you have any questions, feel free to unmute, or you could put it in the chat, whatever works best for you. But I want to thank you guys all. If there's anything you want to see again, I have no problem re-showing something as well. But yeah, self-care takes practice. So trying new things at different times in your life can be very appropriate, and it's very okay to do that. But taking your time and figuring out what works for you and what best helps you to be the best version of yourself. Yeah, and it does take practice. So if you try a new activity and it doesn't feel right, that's okay. You can keep practicing and keep trying. Okay, so that is a good one. So actually, what websites do you recommend a student or new person trying to seek therapy to find the right therapist for themselves? So that's a great question. So shop around, be picky. When you're, especially if you're going to be paying for the services. So like if you're not trying, if you're in a position where you can pay for services and that's what you're going to do, or if you have insurance that is going to pay for the service, it's okay to be picky. It's okay to shop around. It's okay to try and meet new people. However, there is a newsletter that I do subscribe to that shares a lot of tidbits, articles, information about mental health and wellness, and it is called Wonder Mind. It's called the Wonder Mind newsletter, and you can find it at wondermind.com, and you can sign up for it, and it will send you a newsletter on Monday and Wednesday with links to suggestions on, you know, how to address certain things, and it just gives you things to think about. So like one thing was, I'll put it in the chat just so, wondermind.com. That, yeah, you can subscribe to that. They'll send you a newsletter Monday and Wednesday with suggestions. So like the other day it had, you know, say something nice to a stranger, you know, and just a way to spread positivity, but also a way to check in with yourself. But going through, and it is an extensive process when you're finding your own therapist. It is an extensive process, but the best advice is just to be picky and shop around, like, you know, as if you were buying a car. You know, you want to shop around. Not everything is meant for everybody. Not one model is meant for everybody. I see a lot of promotion for BetterHelp. Have you heard of them? So I've seen their ads as well. I haven't met anybody who's tried BetterHelp, but I do know there are some other platforms as well that do work with colleges, institutions on an online platform, so it's more accessible. So like there is place called Talk Campus that is on universities, things like that. And then there's also a place called TBH. They're also an online platform that bring virtual counselors to that person. Yes, you're welcome. No problem. But yeah, that is shopping around, whatever you're looking for. So if you're interested in better help, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to call and ask without signing up, without giving credit card information right away, and just seeing, well, what do you offer? What does it look like? And just finding out and being genuinely curious and shopping around and say, like, how would this work for me? These are my circumstances and this is what I'm looking for. And then just being critical, and knowing what you want. Again, just really shop around, because it is, counseling is unique, and you as the person seeking counseling should definitely be in charge of what you're looking for. So it's okay to say, well, what is your philosophy on counseling, and different things like that, or what are your credentials? That's one thing I didn't share at the beginning that I forgot, but saying what and asking those questions would definitely be helpful. And then just talking to other people. So like I said, reducing the stigma around mental health, and saying, hey, have you, asking a trusted relative or friend, hey, have you tried this? Do you know about this? Do you know anybody who's tried it? Things like that. All great questions. Thank you. Any more? I don't know how hardline the schedule is, if everybody disappears right at 11:55 or not, but we're getting close. So if you have any more questions, please let me know. If not, I really thank you guys for your time and your attention today, and I had a lot of fun.